Hey guys, and welcome back to Talking Walking Dead and the episode Chupacabra, which was a very Daryl-centric episode.
It was, and maybe fans have been asking for this because they've thought he's a badass for a while. He hasn't had the most to do in the group.
Yeah.
I have to tell you that when this episode started, I thought I was not going to like it. The search for Sophia again, the talk between Rick and Shane being a little too on the nose with Rick about how, like, you don't make the hard choices, but I can. And it's like, we know that. They didn't need to say it. But once things turned towards Daryl's accident and his struggles, it got really interesting and pretty gruesome.
Yeah, you know, it was a pretty cool episode as far as the Daryl component of it. That was the best part of it,
right.
And that's what really worked. Norman Reedus gave a great performance. We've talked a lot about how Merle is not our favorite character, but here it was a toned down Merle.
If you had to see Merle again on this show, this was the most, this was the best way possible. Mind Merle.
Right.
Basically, it is interesting though, because first of all, this is the first time that we've seen Norman Reedus and Michael Rooker interact, and the two characters interact as brothers, but one of them wasn't real. It was one-sided.
Yeah.
And it's also even more interesting the fact that if they're even going to bring Merle back as a real person again, missing the hand, they've kind of taken away that Merle returns moment.
Yeah, they have.
Now with an imaginary Merle.
But in the meantime, you know, Daryl had some great moments. I mean, the fact that he had an arrow through his side and kept climbing and persevering, the way he killed those zombies was awesome. So a lot of good stuff there. I'm a little wary of the fact that he seemed to take Merle's words to heart, that he seemed to take this imaginary projection of his brother to heart about no one trusts you, no one likes you.
They're just using you because you're a redneck and they don't think that much of you.
And I hope that doesn't suddenly change Daryl completely.
We don't know how he feels exiting the episode, and he has that nice moment with Carol where she says that you did more for Sophia even though you didn't find her than her father ever did.
Yeah.
Once again, a little moment between him and Carol, but we still don't know how he stands by the end of the episode.
Yeah, I also want to mention briefly the flashback that opened the episode because it was kind of the most action-packed of those flashbacks we've seen. That was pretty cool to kind of see how far things went and escalated, and the fact that they basically were, napalming an American city trying to stop this thing before it could spread.
Didn't work.
Did not work, however. But then, meanwhile, there wasn't much going on at the farm, which is why I thought this episode was just okay overall, even though I liked the Daryl stuff. Some fallout of Maggie and Glenn, but, nothing really happened.
I mean, literally, she is the farmer's daughter, and Glenn now finds himself in that farmer's daughter scenario. A little more scenes with Herschel getting pissed off with the lack of communication between him and Rick, and you get the idea that he wants him off of his property.
Yeah.
Then by the end of the episode, we find out why.
Yeah, I do want to say before that though that can Dale not give Glenn so much crap for having sex? Just let him enjoy the sex.
But I think he made his point at the end when he's like, I thought I was going to die the next day. Point made.
Exactly.
Dale got it.
Getting back to the barn though, this was a big scene, one that fans of the comic books have been waiting for, and a cool moment. We've been kind of taking some slow time here on the farm, and so now we're going to see how this kind of escalates the situation. Anyway, want to know what you thought? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next week.
Mind Merle.